How do you answer these 100 plus questions about your small business? Welcome. This is indeed a most exciting time in my life as I am launching a new digital video book. My journey actually got started in 2007 when I self-published the original, How Do You Answer These 749 Questions About Your Small Business. That was indeed a very exciting experience and time in my life. I literally took 100 days of time where all I did was work on developing the content for the book. And I also wanted to publish the book myself. I had begun my career as a small business owner in the early 70s as a publisher. And it was always my dream then to someday publish a book from beginning to end. Not just write the book, author the book, but also to manufacture the book and then ultimately market it and sell it. That happened I wrote the book in 2007, formally introduced the book on New Year's Day in 2008. The book was originally designed as a workbook. I have 749 questions, but there's white space in between all of the questions so that the small business owner could take those questions that were most pertinent to their business, take notes about it and say, geez, I need to work on that. And I need to call my accountant, I need to call my attorney, my business strategist, my marketing person, my technology person, my banker, my insurance man, to get the proper answer to that question for my business, because it's an important question. The only criticism that I got about the book, except for the 2, maybe 3 typos there were in the book, was that I did not provide answers to the questions. I had to laugh at that one because it was never my intent to provide answers to the questions. As I was developing my business plan for 2015, and that started in the late 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter of 2014, I decided that now was the time to provide my answers to the questions, or to facilitate the answers to the questions, because not all of it would be my answer directly, but I would work with and ask friends of mine or members of our Dreaming with Entrepreneurs and Google Plus community to share their small business subject matter expertise. And together we would develop answers to questions. I actually got that experience started in the 4th quarter of last year, and am now ready to go public, if you will, with the first 6 chapters, and I call that phase 1. More about that in a moment. Along the way, I got involved in another book project, and I wrote chapter 23 in this book, Counterattack Business Strategies for Explosive Growth in the New Economy. And I actually wrote that chapter in 2010, late 2010. In 2011, that book got a Quilly Award from the National Academy of Best-Selling Authors. I flew out to Hollywood, went down a red carpet, and accepted a Quilly Award for my participation for writing chapter 23. And I was indeed honored to share the podium, if you will, with my #1 mentor, small business mentor of all time, Brian Tracy. And what a thrilling experience that was. I wanted to take the approach of doing videos. I quite honestly don't totally enjoy writing as authors, writers need to do. My passion is sharing information, sharing great content, but doing it in the form of video, as we are doing with this introduction. A chance to interact. You know, when we read a book, we read a paragraph and we say, well, what is the author really trying to say? And maybe we get it right, maybe we don't get it right, but we use our own frame of reference to establish what we think the author is saying. But somehow when you do a video or you do an audio book, I've enjoyed reading audio books by Michael Gerber, my mentor on entrepreneurship, and Brian Tracy. When they talk about it, when they read their words, you really get a feeling for what it is they're trying to say. You can tell by the inflection in their voice. But when you do a video, you can actually see it. And that has a whole nother dimension. I have been doing video and live streaming for many years now. I think I started probably about 7 years ago when I was doing content on entrepreneurship and small business information, the same content that I am doing today. I was on a website, and in a 3-year period, I produced over 1,000 hours of content. I had 20,000 followers who generated 2.5 million plus views in those 3 years. We had a wonderful experience going. Then all of a sudden one day, the website, I got an email, literally, no advance warning. Did a broadcast at 11 o'clock one morning, and at 3 o'clock that same afternoon, I received an email saying the website was going to be closing at midnight that day. I had no advance warning. I had all this following. I was not even able to capture for myself the 1,000 hours that I had generated. But so what? Move on. Within 24 hours, I was producing YouTubes, doing the same content, small business information, and entrepreneurial themes. In about a 3-year period, I think I've been doing them now for 3 years, I've generated over 800 YouTubes about my content, about my area of expertise. And by the way, if I had to pick one of the small business challenges that is my area of expertise, it certainly would be marketing and sales and business strategy. Those are the things that I have been focusing most on in my 40 plus years as a small business owner. A little over 2 years ago, I lose all sense of time after a while. Google Plus introduced Hangouts on Air. And very early on, I got involved in producing Hangouts on Air because it made a lot of sense. Now, I could produce same content, same material. I could interact with an audience live in an event stream, or bring them on into the Hangout on Air, invite them in to participate. While I was doing that, that HOA, Hangout on Air, could be broadcast on my website, as well as in my Google Plus stream. When it was completed, it automatically became a YouTube. And then I could take that YouTube code and embed it back on my website for permanent archiving. What a great way to efficiently spend time in creating content that attempts to get the attention of the Google search engines, creates a video library. And I'm happy to say, I'm proud to say that I believe the numbers are that there have been over 20,000 views to the YouTubes that I have done. The last time I looked, I was averaging 25 or 30 people a day would go to my YouTube library, pull a video off the shelf, view it, and do whatever, share it, comment on it, whatever. It's been a wonderful experience, and it's something that really anybody can do. It's not that difficult, but it's a wonderful way to share information and interact and build business relationships. So that's a little bit of why I chose to take the particular path that I have taken. Today I am using Google Hangout on Air technology, obviously, and Google Works for Business as a total tool. I have many different pieces, all Google technology, working together to maximize the efficiencies of how I not only run my business, but how I market my business. And with the creation of this digital video book, now we have something to sell in the marketplace. I'm going to take a little bit, not a little different approach. I'm going to take a dramatically different approach into the marketing and selling of the book, of my book. How do you answer these 100 plus questions about your 2015 small business? Each month, there is going to be new content presented, so that we are going to be actually selling the book as a monthly subscription that you can cancel at any time if you don't feel you're getting value for it. But a monthly subscription is going to cost $4.99, so that you will be able to get the information that is presented in that month, the new content, plus also you'll be able to have access to material that has already been published in prior months. It's a different approach, but it's a combination of ideas that I've been studying and researching and talking with friends about. And we are most excited because now I have a book that will never end. It will continue to go for as long as I can continue to produce HOAs and broadcasts that will create the desirable content. We have 3 phases of this book. 2 of them have been completed already. Phase 1, I asked 4 friends to talk about small business strategy, small business marketing sales, small business technology, and small business money matters. The strategy chapter was done by a brilliant business strategist by the name of Jim Shankle. Jim has not only been a tremendously successful small business owner himself, but he teaches business strategy in a graduate school in Alabama. I'm sorry, in Arkansas, where he resides. I was so very honored that my marketing and sales chapter discussion was with my good friend, David Amerlin. David is maybe the most insightful, philosophical person that I have ever met in terms of marketing and sales. Understanding the human psyche, understanding human behavior, because that's what marketing and selling is. It's understanding the human mind and what motivates people to do certain things. And there's no better person at doing that than David Amerlin. David's actually contributed 2 chapters in our phase 1. We'll talk about the second one in a moment. And then I turned to 2 technology geeks, if you will, to have a discussion, a 1-hour discussion about technology. Technology that is available to small businesses. You know, technology that is available creates a level playing field for the small business owner. You can effectively manage and run your own small business very efficiently and compete, if you will, with any size business, because the technology available to you is the same technology available to any business. It's just how they use it and how they might customize that technology to meet the unique aspects of their particular business model. So I asked Vivek, my good friend Vivek, who actually I am partnered with. We have developed a very, very productive small business collaboration where Vivek uses his very creative technology developmental mind. He's an engineer with a very creative mind, understands Google technology as well as anybody understands it, except maybe the folks at Google, the developers of the technology. And together, we have created a very, very dynamic business infrastructure, if you will, hosting our website on Google servers, as well as the book is being developed as a Google site, once again, on Google servers. Many reasons why I picked that as how I wanted to present the book to the marketplace. And William Rock has an incredible technology mind, and he himself wants to do more and more teaching and mentoring to businesses, small and large, about how to use all the available technology to make the business, your business, run more efficiently. And then the final chapter, Money Matters, was a 1-hour discussion that I had with my good friend, Barbara Weltman. Barbara has a presence in Google+, but her presence, her reputation is known widely outside of Google+. She is recognized as the #1 small business tax expert in this country. And I'm very honored to say that Barbara has actually been a friend of mine for over 7 years. We were doing streaming in the old days together before Google Hangouts on Air. And Barbara has taken our Google Hangouts on Air platform, my production, and actually has introduced several books. Right there, those books right there are Barbara's books. We've introduced those books inside of Google Hangouts on Air. I remember the day very well where I had 2 computers going facing each other, 2 cameras facing each other. One was a Skype conversation that I was having with Barbara. The other one was the actual streaming of the broadcast on a website. And the 2 cameras were looking at one another, and I was standing in the middle looking in 2 directions. Those were the good old days. Since I have been using Google Hangouts on Air, I have not used Skype at all. I don't even know what they are doing today, but there's no need to for me, because Hangouts on Air and Hangouts, I do them every single day of my life. And so it's become a very, very important part of my life. As a matter of fact, I am watching my granddaughter grow up. She's approaching 20 months now, and we hang out once or twice a week. She lives in Rome, and we use this technology for that purpose, and that'll be something I can go back in time when Eloise is with me, and I can show her the things that we did back when she was a baby. Phase 2 of my book will be released in April, next month, and that is a series of group discussions that I had. They're already produced. I am doing some work on them right now, and they will be presented in April. I had business strategy discussions with Azara Altair, Stan Bush, and Ken Manessi. Wonderful discussion on strategy. 3 of those 3 individuals, I could not have picked 3 better individuals to have discussions with on a group discussion on strategies. Wonderful, wonderful discussion. I had a what I would call a traditional marketing discussion with Chef Dennis Litley, Kathy Brown, and Susan Finch, and we had a good time that day, talking about some of the things that we have been doing for years and how they relate to today's marketing. Then I had another marketing discussion with 3 individuals who are extremely active in social marketing: Brooke Ballard, Jess Duell, and Dustin Stout. And so in April, those chapters will be released, along with a marketing technology, spending a lot of time talking about Google technology, I had with 4 folks very, very well known in Google Plus for their expertise in technology: Ronnie Bincer, Christine DeGraff, Ben Fisher, and Jason Weiser. This has been such a wonderful experience for me to ask friends to work with me in sharing their expertise and their knowledge to help answer 100 plus questions about small business today's small business. Along the way, we'll be having special chapters within the book, and those will be me just asking friends to share stories of entrepreneurship. Actually, 2 more of those will be released in April. Eric Enge and Chuck Matthews. Chuck has been a longtime friend of mine, and he actually started the entrepreneurship department at the University of Cincinnati, and he is he's a world-renowned speaker of entrepreneurship and travels all over the world talking about it. I caught him in Cincinnati. Actually, it's about 2 months ago now, and we had a wonderful discussion on entrepreneurship. Phase 3 of the book is going to. Oh, I also see here. I forgot about. They will be released in phase 2. We did an HOA on video marketing. And I asked Terry Leigh Britton, Scott Scowcroft, and Jeff C. To participate in a group discussion on video marketing. And all 3 of them are brilliant in the specific things that they do in terms of video marketing. And then I had a discussion on small business branding and small business marketing research. Actually called upon 2 friends of mine living right here in Cincinnati, where I live. Dan Krask has developed a wonderful business on his own on branding, and John Fox, of all the group of people I've asked to do HOAs with. I've known John the longest. I've actually known him for over 20 years, and he is the most brilliant small business marketing research marketing individual I have ever met. So that's going to be also in phase 2. Phase 3 is going to be a series of 15-minute discussions, 15 minutes max, where we'll take one question, one idea, and give the best answer that we possibly can to that question, something pertinent, something important. And if you have some small business subject matter expertise that you would like to share with our audience, our community, our Google world, anybody who we market our book to, please let me know. So I think I've covered everything in that general area, just to talk about how I wanted to structure the book, how I wanted to market the book, how we want to sell the book. And now I'm going to do the traditional things that are done in a book. And that's some disclaimers, some information, dedication, etc. And here's what I wrote in 2007. Most of it is pertinent today, and we just changed the dates a little bit. But Dreaming with Entrepreneurs, LLC was the publisher. Actually, Dreaming with Entrepreneurs, LLC and the SmallBizDavid Foundation, LLC are the publishers of today's book. All rights are reserved. No parts of the book may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods, without the prior written permission of the publisher, Dreaming with Entrepreneurs, myself, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical reviews and certain other non-commercial uses permitted by copyright law. There's probably some other things that need to be clarified because of the fact that I am using YouTube Google technology. So I would suggest that you contact me before you would want to do anything with our content. And we will publish the written address of how you can contact me by mail. As I said, we're going to be selling the book by monthly subscriptions, $4.99 per month. You can cancel at any time you so desire. In 2007, I dedicated my book. This book was dedicated to my father, Leonard J. Leopold. His professional love of life was journalism. He himself authored a book for the Signal Corps in the 1940s. With his death at that time, it was 37 years ago, now 41 years ago, I ultimately became a small business owner and just coincidentally a publisher. Today, I want to continue dedicating this work to my father. And I'm also adding some folks to that list of dedication. I'm dedicating it also to my mother. And before I did this book, I talked to my mother about that. I said, Mom, I'm going to put Dad in as dedicating the book, and here's why. The next time I do a book, I'm going to include you in that list, and got a big smile from her. So, Mom, this one's for you also. Actually, my mother is the only formal business partner I've ever had in my life. Real quickly, a cute story that goes along with that. When my father passed away, my mother was left with two small businesses that my father owned, and she did not have the knowledge or the interest to run either one of the businesses. So I got involved in the publishing business, and my uncle, her brother, got involved in another small business that my father had. But 90 days into the business venture with my mother as partner, I said, Mom, I don't want to be your business partner anymore. I want to be your son, and I want to enjoy being your son. We weren't on the same page as far as the business goes, and she understood exactly what I was saying. My grandfather, her father, overheard that discussion. He said, just like this, okay, David, give your mother $10,000 and do whatever you want with the business. I said, okay, Papa, you're the boss. I'll do whatever you tell me that needs to get done. So, Mom, this dedication of the new book is for you also. Actually, I've done 2 YouTubes with my mother. I sang happy birthday to her on her 90th birthday and last year on her 91st birthday on YouTube. And I'm also dedicating this book to my sons and my daughters-in-law and my granddaughter, Jordan, Sam, Sarah, Kimberly, and Precious Eloise. Because of the fact that now the foundation is getting involved in my work, or I'm getting involved in the foundation and the work that the foundation is going to be doing. And hopefully my children will want to continue the work of the foundation when I can't continue anymore. Acknowledgements. I want to acknowledge my mentors. My small business and life mentor is Brian Tracy. I was involved, as I told you, in a book project with Brian in 2010. Actually met him in 2011. In 2011, I also met Michael Gerber, who is my entrepreneurship mentor. Michael is probably the most well-known personality, author about entrepreneurship. Has written many, many books. The first one being The E-Myth that he wrote 26, 27 years ago. I reference it a lot in discussions that I have. And also, Michael personally signed his most recent book, which was published on the 25th anniversary of The E-Myth. And that was a great thrill. He only published 5,000 books, and mine was numbered 52. How great was that? So Michael has been my mentor on entrepreneurship. And I also want to acknowledge my friend David Amerlin, who has been my mentor on today's small business marketing and sales. You heard me say earlier that he has one of the finest business minds that I have ever met, and understands human behavior. And that's what makes him so very brilliant at the things that he does. And then I also want to dedicate and acknowledge, well, more acknowledge all the members of our Dreaming with Entrepreneurs and Google Plus community, which now number almost 1,000 members daily. They are an inspiration for me to continue to do the things that I do in the name of entrepreneurship and in the name of small business. And as I mentioned, my legacy marketing rights will go to SmallBizDavid Foundation and my sons. And also, I want to acknowledge all my friends who have been very instrumental, and you've heard me talk about them already, about writing and sharing their expertise, their small business expertise. Interesting enough, I'm trying to think, only one person, two people that have already worked with me in developing some content I have met in person. All the rest I have met on Google Plus doing Hangouts like we're doing right now. However, in the last quarter of 2015, my plans are to take the book and the show on the road, if you will, and meet in person friends all over the country. And we're starting to work out that strategy and that plan, which I'm sure you'll hear more about in future months. So I guess that's about it. This is a long introduction to the concept, to the book, to what I'm trying to do. And thank you for taking your time to support the book and to support entrepreneurship and to support small business. Small business and entrepreneurship, embracing the small businesses, is what is the heartbeat of everything that happens in this country and around the world. Because it is the innovator, it is the entrepreneur, it is the dreamer, it is the individual who wants to take action and make our world a better place in which to live. I'll see you the next time, which may very well be the best time.